Go ahead.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, how's it going, guys? We are Beach Builders, partnered up with Shoreline Design to present the Heartwood Apartments proposal in Seattle, Washington. So just a bit about Beach Builders. We started in 1975 as a concrete subcontractor and transitioned into general contracting in 1989, the launch of the Beach Builders. And in 1990s and 2000s, we had regional growth in the Western US. And mid-2010s, we became a multi-office platform with 8 regional offices in the US. And present day, we are integrated delivery leaders with design build and progressive design build as our specialties. Let's meet the team. My name is Milton Ingita. I'm the project manager for Corsa Construction, and in pre-construction, I'm the design manager.
I'm Manuel Mota. I was the lead architect on this project.
I'm Isaiah Sikuti. I will be your estimator for pre-con and your assistant project manager for construction.
My name is Joshua. I'll be the superintendent on this project.
Hi, I'm Brittany. I'll be the scheduler for the pre-construction phase, and then during construction, I'll be the assistant superintendent.
Hi, I'm Raul. I'll be the project engineer and lead specialist on this project.
As you heard, pre-construction team is going into the operations course of construction team in order to minimize the handoff risk that happens towards the course of construction. Quick project summary: 75,000 square foot design build housing project. Demo existing parking lots, type 4C mass timber construction, residential units, exclusions and security systems, plan check fees, and environmental and traffic studies, and no additional parking. 120 plus units. I think we came about 126 units in total. Key risks that we sought to try to mitigate in this project are the type 4C construction. It's long lead times for CLT and Blue Lamp. Therefore, we're going to be partnering up with our structural engineer as soon as possible in order to start to get quantities and start procurement as soon as possible. Community opposition is a real risk that we are seeing. Adjacent communities could appeal our permits. We could have protests in front of our fences. They don't like our presence there. Therefore, we're going to hire a community liaison consultant in order to help them understand and help them gain the information that they need throughout the course of construction. Cost escalation and budget overrun is a real risk as well. Material price volatility pushes the GMP above the $30.5 million threshold. Therefore, upon 15% price increases due to tariffs, we're going to put the owner on notice like, hey, this is happening due to your materials, due to material tariffs, and we have a target value design philosophy to back us up cost escalation. And urban logistic constraints, there's limited access on East Union Street and 14th Avenue, which restricts deliveries, crane erections, and material staging. Therefore, what we plan to do is meticulous pull planning and just-in-time delivery in order to truly target times where there's less traffic. Mass timber is a big driving factor in this job. And here are our mass timber strategies.
We will be utilizing our deep roots in the Pacific Northwest and our long-term relationships with the mass timber vendors to secure our pricing early. This will also protect the project from market volatility.
Also, as a design firm, we partnered up with Lee, and he'll go through the suppliers for that for you.
Yeah, so upon the RPF, it was a requirement to have a mass timber sourcing option. So our supplier here is going to be Mercer Mass Timber, who provides FSC certified mass timber and structural wood products. FSC is the Forest Stewardship Council, which the certification verifies that wood is harvested from forests managed to protect biodiversity.
So Heartwood Apartments, because this is mass timber, we are able to achieve a carbon net zero, especially with the setting being in Seattle. We felt that this was going to be a really good design aspect, especially for being on this block. I provided a few renderings just to provide an overall mood for the building. Sitting on the corner, interior renders. This building does consist of a retail space. It's got lobbies, offices, and as well as 126 rentable units. The breakdown for that is 84 studios with 42 one-bedroom, as well as I incorporated the GSF, the cost per square foot there for you as well, if you're interested. So again, if this was a combined effort between the architects, the pre-construction, and co-location with our estimator and structural engineer. Because this is mass timber, it provided us, we decided to go with a 30 by 30 foot grid for our structural element. Because it is 30 by 30 foot, we can subdivide into 15-foot increments. That subdivision allows for a standardization of framing, and through that standardization, we're able to do like an open plenum system for our MEPFs. It's and in that plenum system, it will have our electrical bus bar, our plumbing stacks, anything for our mechanicals, whatever you need. There's enough space in that plenum for serviceability, maintenance, and also buildability. Also, as a design firm, we partnered up with consultants for prefabrication. This will be for our bathrooms, exterior envelope, and CLT panels. In doing so, we're able to coordinate using takt time of all of our prefabricated elements of how long things can be built in the shop, which in essence cuts down on cost, increases time on site as well.
And due to this collaborative effort, specifically with the structure simplification, we were able to reduce the final GMP by $300,000.
So the result of all the collaboration, it's a very well-planned, thought-out, efficient design. The mass timber cuts down on the carbon footprint because a lot of these units like average on approximately 350 square foot per studio apartment. I decided to incorporate kind of like a Japanese design where you're playing with sliding elements, warm wood, durable finishes. Also, these sliding elements like pocket doors, for example, it cuts down our waste square footage, and also you can increase the amount of usable square footage per unit. Going by this design, there's a lot of smart and efficient mechanical that we incorporated in this. So because the bathrooms and kitchens are stacked, it's less penetrations vertically. And again, with the assistance of the open plenum, that's allows us to run any sort of mechanical elements throughout all of the spaces. And then before I pass this on, I have a little clip for you guys showing the renderings and kind of an overall video of what this looks like.
I will be going over the cost proposal. We had an initial cost estimate of $30.4 million as our GMP. However, due to the addendum, we provided additional target value design cycles. This reduced our overall GMP by $1.9 million, bringing our final GMP to $28.5 million. 73% of this is hard cost, with additional being 27% being soft cost. I would like to note that this will taper down as the project progresses. We are also proposing a 70-30 split. That way the owner receives 70% of whatever contingency isn't used. And then going over our addendum refinements, we again went over target value design cycles. What this impacted was our VRF optimization. This saved $250,000. This was due to the MEP plenum, which allowed us to simplify our systems. We also did a LVP to steel concrete. This saved about $330,000.
This move also aligns as a design aesthetic for the metropolitan Seattle area.
And one of our biggest cost savers was implementing prefab bathrooms, which saved us $710,000 from the final GMP.
And then combined, these strategies help to save about a month on the schedule.
Going over our hard cost drivers, our lowest being site work. Once again, we only have a demo of a 12,000 square foot parking lot, followed by interiors. Once again, since we have a simple structure from level 2 to 8, we were able to reduce this to almost $4 million. We have our exterior enclosure. Due to shifting a facade, prefab facades, we were able to keep this price lower. Our mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection was once again had the ability to be reduced due to that plenum at about $5 million. And our biggest cost driver being the structure, being mass timber. However, we were able to keep that cost down due to locking in our prices early. As you can see on the right, we have a render of our structure. And then just to back up our GMP, we do have the system cost benchmarking. At the high end, we have the Julia West, also in the Pacific Northwest in Portland, Oregon. On the low end, we have the Pax Futura, Seattle, Washington. I would like to note, both of these are multifamily projects in the Midwest. So the medium is a Heartwood Seattle. We would like to know, as you, the owner, you won't be getting a premium on the general square footage. It'll be market price for our projects.
So this is our abbreviated LEED scorecard. Upon the owner's request, we were able to achieve LEED Silver accreditation. But if the owner is wishing to pursue LEED Gold within our GMP, this would be our strategy here. So some of the heavy hitters we have are the energy and atmosphere, which would be 20 points. And like mentioned before, we achieve this via our VRF mechanical system and our designated outdoor air system. We'll have advanced commissioning, metering, and then another topic I wanted to touch on was our second most valuable would be the indoor environmental quality, which is 11 points. We plan on getting this with the MERV 13 filtration, low VOC materials, and then we'll have a lot of windows around the site to provide natural daylight. So one of the requests of the RFP was the Restore Habitat Rainwater Management Strategy. So what we plan to do is we plan to have a minimum of 30% of the site restored by converting impervious areas into landscape courtyard and vegetated edges. We plan to restore ecological function on previously developed urban site using native and adaptive planning. And then for our rainwater management on the roof, we plan to have a roof runoff routed to the landscape infiltration areas to reduce discharge to municipal systems. And at the very end of the project, we plan to implement a roof-mounted Davis weather station system. So what this does is it collects data on the localized rainfall, since Seattle is a very rain-heavy environment, and this is for the long-term site management. Another one of our heavy hitters here, which is targeting 6 LEED points, is our enhanced commissioning. Our plan for this would be to hire an independent third-party commissioning authority, which will be engaged at the beginning of the pre-construction and throughout the entire duration of our construction. So this will include design phase reviews of mechanical, electrical, and control systems, construction phase verification and functional performance testing, and then lastly, we're gonna input advanced energy metering all around the site to enable ongoing performance monitoring.
Alright, so before I get into how we're building out this building, I just wanna touch on the period between our contract award and NTP, which is the first 9 days. This is a very, important time period for us, just because, as Milton mentioned, pushback from the community is a big, risk on this project, and it's called for in RP. So what we're planning to do is have an initial community meeting, where we introduce ourselves, our team, to the community, hear out maybe any concerns that they have that are specific, and then tell them about our logistics planning, and our safety approach and how we're deciding on scheduling. So going over the schedule, we begin May 1st, when the NTP is issued, with the design happening with BIM coordination. That will leave us at a design complete milestone of October 2023.
During this time, the design firm will be helping beach builders with permitting at this time.
And for procurement of our long lead items, including this puts together the permitting, the prefabrication of our bathroom units, the mass timber, electrical switchgear, that's happening throughout our design as well. And then at the same time, we do have some early site work, which is, as Raul mentioned, the restoration of the natural habitat, some environmental studies that called for in the RFP, and then the demo of the existing parking lot that's right next to it. And then our 8 levels will be topped out by March of 2024. That will let us dry in July 2024. Following with that is our interior work and exterior work, which will leave us at a substantial completion of July 2024. And a final completion of November 6, 2024, which meets the RFP requirement of November 7. This is a total project duration of 18 months with a 45-day weather contingency. Just as we've been mentioning, Seattle is very rainy. So before Joshua touches on phasing and site logistics, I just want to go over the critical path, which we've kind of been mentioning. It's the timber, it's really driving the schedule. And that will trickle down through the closeout. So for initial controlling, the initial plan to control these risks is just the front load coordination through BIM. And make sure everything is fully coordinated before we release for fabrication. And then for the crane erection, we just plan to mobilize immediately, like as we've been mentioning with the just-in-time deliveries. And then the owner trainings will be planned out by system. So as we complete them, we'll go through the trainings. And then moving on to site logistics.
So moving on, this is our site logistics plan for Heartwood So on this site, we have 6-foot fencing surrounding the site, and we would have sandbags to prevent erosion control, and then we would have 2 main entrances, one on the east side of East Union Street, and then one adjacent to the fire lane, especially for emergencies. And then next to it, we'd have our safety hub area where we'd have our mustard zone, and then we would have our rights to know area where we'd be filled with spill kits, our job board, SES sheets, food task plans, everything we would need to ensure that we have 100% accident-free project. And then we would also implement our temporary facilities such as restrooms on this site. And then during the whole duration of this project, we would ensure security. And on the exterior, we would have tree fencing protection to protect the landscape, existing landscape, and then we'd have our covered pedestrian walkways around the perimeter to ensure that the public has safety during the construction of the mass timber building. And on the off-site location, we have our contractor parking and our facilities. This is because there's too much active construction going on the actual site. We decided to do it on site on this different location. We would have our break area, our meeting trailer, where we would have inspectors going in there and our crew as well, and then we'd have our main layout area. After this, we would have our delivery logistics set up. So coordinating with Bernie, we'd have a just-in-time delivery service schedule, and then we would utilize CameraTech to organize these deliveries. We would also make sure this is done safely through traffic control with flagmen and traffic barriers, so that we could redirect cars going into different alternative routes while this is being done. We would also have a street closure lane permit as well. And we also have daily street cleaning to maintenance the street as we use this. Moving on to phase 2, which is the first floor, as mentioned by Manny, is like the main the lobby and then the residentials. And then we would have, since this is a really constrained area, we would have a jib tower crane placed within the elevator pit. This is due to, we have a smaller crane radius so that we would interfere with the public and also Helen B apartment, since we do share a courtyard together. And then by doing so, as we move on to the residential floors, which is floors 2 through 8, we would start to work on the framing as we would have the tower crane placed. And once the framing is done, we would start to have our man lifts and exterior scaffolding to move efficiently within our crews and the materials. And to help with roll with the lead points, we would have trash chutes to be placed to track the materials and separate the recycling and the waste. And this is what the building would look like after the project is done. So this is our community engagement.
So during the public information session with the community, I will be bringing Joshelle with me, our superintendent, and myself, the project manager, will be highly involved in answering meeting concerns with a 3-week look ahead, letting the community be aware and help them understand when our milestone shutdowns are, and just really give them notice on what's going to happen, so they are not caught off guard with anything we're doing.
To add on to this, we would respect the 5 hours of the residencies. We would have the heavy and loud work limited to the city hours, which is from 8 to 5 p.m.
So why choose us? 3 values are operational excellence. We execute at a level of detail that may go unnoticed by others, but not by us. Transparency, we choose honesty as a path of least resistance. And camaraderie, we operate as one unit and one objective, that's to build. And guided by operational excellence, transparency, camaraderie, we deliver work that is intentional, honest, and unified. We stand behind doing things the right way, even when it's harder, because our standards define us more than the outcomes do. So, yeah. Any questions?